guys, so I'm back to do another My Wattpad Library. And yes, if you watch my book review on Inside Out, I did film these on the same day. And I was going to change my shirt, but I didn't. So, no shame. I filmed them together. So, in case you've never seen an edition of My Wattpad Library, I'm basically going to go through and read off the books I have in my library that are completed and the books that aren't completed. And tell you why I love them. So let's get started. So per usual, I'm going to start off with the completed books in my library. Because I know some people only like to read completed books. So here we go. The first completed book I have in my Wattpad library is Finding Claire Collins by Live and Love 10. This is a sequel to Surviving Adam Mead. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I don't want to spoil anything. The next book I have in my completed library is Project Smile by G. Writes Novels. This book is about Gabriel Lancaster, the boy who never smiles, and Cassidy Evans, the girl who's determined to change that. Next, I have Royal Reform by M. Slow, in which Prince Alexander learns some damn manners. Next, I have Death is My BFF, the first book in the rewritten Death Chronicles, and it's by CatRocks247. I chose to read the rewritten series because I know when an author rewrites a book, it's for a purpose. The legendary Angel of Death is in for a surprise when he comes to claim Faith Williams' soul and he finds his match. There are no sparkling heroes in this story and no damsels in distress, and for the first time, the villain might win. Next I have Cheater, Faker, Troublemaker. Alex Summers spends 6 months in therapy, and after she reaches her breaking point, her parents send her off to LA for a stress-free summer. Enter Elias King. He's still reeling from a crime he doesn't remember committing, and he's hell-bent on destroying anything in his path, including Alex. Secondhand Wedding by MaryFahey. Chloe's engagement ends 2 months before the wedding was planned. So to recycle her stylish event, she proposes to the hunk she jilted twice. Vintage car expert Silas accepts. Next is Perfect Illusion by ClaudiaOverthere. Daniel Carrington is a multi-millionaire's son. He's got it all. The good looks, totally swoon-worthy. Too bad his personality is a piece of shit. Ever since our horrible encounter 2 months ago, we have established that we hate each other, and there's no reason for us to cross paths ever again. Right? Wrong. Now that my parents' company has gone bankrupt, Harry Carrington has offered to step in and help. And in return, fake engagement. Daniel and I have to pretend to like each other for the next 3 years of our lives. Little did we know that we would be so wrapped up in our very own perfect illusion. So, in the series, the first one that I actually read is Perfect Addiction, and then I went back and read what was actually the first book in the series. So, Perfect Addiction is also by ClaudiaOverthere. Sienna Lane has finally got her life the way she wants it to be. That is, until she finds out that her sister has been screwing around with her boyfriend. To make things worse, God has decided to bestow upon her the presence of Caden Williams. He's moody, resentful, and has a lot of issues, but no doubt he's a great fighter. Perhaps even one of the best, if he hadn't been defeated by Sienna's ex. Both of them need each other more than they think they do. Caden wants glory, and Sienna wants him to fuel her revenge, as well as a place to stay. She makes a deal with him. She'll train him for the biggest fight of his life against her ex-boyfriend in exchange for a place to stay. Perfect Redemption by ClaudiaOverthere. Jax Daenerys is the definition of the devil. He has a knack for twisting and manipulating his words to get whatever he wants. He even cheated on his girlfriend of 3 years with her very own sister. He doesn't deserve to get redemption. He is wicked and evil. He burns everything he touches. Still, that doesn't mean he won't try to burn me. Jack's Daenerys always gets what he wants. If the devil wants me, then I'll have to use his own weapon against him. It's time to fight fire with fire. Trigger by hepburnettes. Yes, this is a fan fiction. Yes, I know I said I don't read fan fiction, but I have a soft spot for Bucky Barnes. 3 months after the event of Civil War, Bucky Barnes is forced out of his cryogenic state. Worried that the Winter Soldier might be reactivated, the Avengers, or what's left of them, send Bucky to a safe house with Dakota Summers. Dark Corners by dodesginer. When Emmy helped her exhausted, on the verge of a panic attack, next-door neighbor into his apartment at 3 a.m., she never expected to be sucked into his world. One filled with the unsolved murder case of his mother from 10 years ago. 4 Realizations by dougmcquaid. 5 minutes after a failed suicide attempt, Derek Rivers realizes 4 things. 1. He was alive. 2. He was crying. 3. They were tears of relief. And 4. He didn't want to die. He then proceeds to check himself into Woodbridge Mental Clinic and regrets it the second he meets Jake Williams, an infamous volunteer at the clinic whose smart remarks aren't always the most welcoming, and Samantha White, a selective mute, whose sharp looks at his direction make him want to cower. This one is also called Trigger by dougmcquaid. Kinsley Adams is finally getting the vacation she deserves. Kinsley's had the same cottage for as long as she can remember, but there's definitely a new improvement. The 2 hot boys living next door, Levi and Finn. When they come over for a barbecue on the first night, Levi Collins seems like a perfectly normal teenager. That is until gunshots are heard in the middle of the night. That's when Kinsley discovers that Levi is far from normal. Completely normal teenagers aren't constantly losing their mind after all. Enter Finn Allen. 10 Reasons Not to Die by RiceLover. Give me 10 days to give you 10 reasons not to die, Evan said. And if I can't change your mind, you can go ahead and jump off that cliff. I'm going to say this wrong. Balconial Conversations by Exotic Finn, in which a cynical girl and a disastrously self-characterized aromantic psychology student have daily conversations between neighboring balconies. The Cell Phone Swap by Do Not Microwave, which is being published as Textrovert. I'll put a link in the description below where you can pre-order it on Amazon. Keely accidentally swaps cell phones with a rivaling high school quarterback. Unable to switch back until a week later, she must communicate with him through texts and voicemails. As she gets to know him, she realizes there's more to him than sexual innuendos and egotistical comments. But when identities are revealed and secrets are exposed, will Kaylee's feelings remain the same? Late Summer Rain, Aubrey Eats Hearts. This is a story about Danny and Ryan. Ryan, the popular golden boy who's now cast to the bottom of the barrel, and Danny, who feels pity for him. Surviving Adam Mead. School is stressful, senior year is worse, and Adam Mead is a different caliber all of its own. Brown-Haired Boy by Flawed. Well, she didn't put a description on it, so I'm just going to say, You Said It Would Sting. Trainwreck by Flawed is the sequel to Brown-Haired Boy. I promise they're both good. You should give them a read. Haze by dodesginer. I wonder if it's possible to lose myself if I never really knew who I was to start with. This is a short story dealing with bipolar disorder. The One Without Words by Destacia. And I probably didn't say that right either. For 17-year-old Rami May, selling flowers on the side of the road is the perfect job. That is until Jack Michaels joins her. He doesn't speak, except for communicating through glares and scowls instead of actual words. And with the rest of her family falling apart, this is the last thing she needs to deal with. Adrift by Destacia. It's a spin-off of The One Without Words. The truth. It demands to be made known to the dawn and to the sea into him. The truth hangs in the air like cigarette smoke that comes from his lips. This is a boy ex-boy story. The 7 Deadly Simpson Brothers, being rewritten, so I would definitely suggest the rewritten version. The Simpsons brothers are the most dangerous gang in town, and Coral finds herself getting more and more involved with them. Kissing Booth by Shadie Tree. This is a boy ex-boy story. This is also book 1 of the Kissing Booth series. I haven't read the series, only book 1. Scar Patterson has everything a boy could want. A smoking hot girlfriend, a full ride scholarship, and good looks. In an attempt to raise money for the football team's new uniforms, Scar hosts a kissing booth at the school's carnival week. It's the perfect idea to kiss beautiful girls and get money at the same time. Until he has to kiss a boy. So that is it for the completed books that I'm going to be talking about today. And now I'm going to move on to the incomplete books in my library. The Midnight Boys by Fallzswimmer. They reminded me of Peter Pan's Lost Boys, wild and rebellious, but all grown up, in a way that could only be described in one word: sexy. So this is a sequel to Cheater, Faker, Troublemaker, book 2. And I'm not going to read the description because it's a massive spoiler. So read Cheater, Faker, Troublemaker, and then go read Find Her Keeper. Everlasting by Tolly Purvis. Once a player, always a player. Melanie Cartwright came into Connor's life one day and completely destroyed it. Stay by smallpeaches. Kat's overbearing mother signs her up to do volunteer work at the hospital. Kat meets Oliver, one of the patients, and they strike up an unlikely friendship. Blurred Lines, ForeverNovember. When Brinley got accepted into a rehab center for her eating disorder, she didn't realize she was being sent to a community of people just like her. And she didn't expect to fall in love with Carter, whose entire life story is carved on his back in red, blurred lines. Mind and Matter by ginawriter. Having grown up with an above-average intelligence and an affinity for analyzing people, Emerson has a hard time fitting in. Leo, on the other hand, knows exactly what it feels like to fit in. But after his father sends him away to live with his grandparents in Maryland, he makes a commitment to himself to alienate himself from everyone else around him. Just the Highlights by Tangled. Elliot and Julia have a complicated relationship. Since they met in the 7th grade, the only heart-to-heart conversation they've had has been over text. They don't mind this lack of intimacy. In fact, they rather enjoy it. Bottled Promises by Do Not Microwave. His future is shackled by the past. Her past is driving her future. Cameron Scott longed to break free from her controlling childhood, and she planned to do just that at Alden University, until she was forced to take the last room on campus in a substance-free dorm room. Cameron signs a contract promising not to drink, party, or do anything illegal. The only positive out of the situation is Alaric St. James, whose disdain for the program rivals her own. But unlike Cameron, he's not there by choice. Both have made promises, but as Cameron soon discovers, sometimes you break promises and sometimes they break you. Baby Fat by Dreamfloats. Bradley Johnson knows that he's fat and he's tired of it, and he's going to change it one way or another. Corey Hughes knows that he's a fuck-up. Bad Boy Bakers by Tolly Purvis. #pass the fucking flour. When the sheriff's daughter Macy is about to lose her grandmother's bakery because no one is willing to work there, she enlists the help of 4 delinquent boys who are seconds away from being sent to prison. Finding Sawyer, the sequel to Saving Sawyer by Millie_. And that's all I'm going to say because spoilers. Saving Everest, Teenagexnightmare. From the outside, Everest Finley had it all. A beautiful cheerleader girlfriend, a rich family, a star quarterback position, good looks. What more could he ask for? But that's from the outside, and that's not all it's cracked up to be. Everest Finley attempted suicide. The school's king now becomes the school's freak. Beverly Davis is a loner. She spends her days working and dealing with her irresponsible mom. So what happens when the loner and the freak come together? An unconventional love story. The Heartbreak Chronicles by Fallzswimmer. Oliver, Xander, JJ, and Alec are just 4 regular guys. They're also members of a world-famous boy band, the Heartbreakers. This is their story. The Heartbreakers is also available in paperback, and I will link that in the description below. Sterile Skies by Scrawls. Important notice. These premises are under high surveillance. No unauthorized personnel shall be allowed past the gates. Under no circumstances do the cell doors open. They must remain locked at all times unless you have an ID card or a key given directly to you. Severe punishment will be given to those willing to jeopardize the safety of their peers. The test subjects contained must be restrained at all times. Failure to follow orders may result in death caused by military precautions or the test subjects themselves. Paper Cuts, My Night Lies. This is a spinoff to her other book, To Ethan, which I have not read. Ellie is bright, cheerful, a literature undergrad, and employee of Sweet Brew, a coffee shop. Miles is bleak, unmotivated, very rational with his decisions, reluctant heir of his father's entertainment company, and a regular customer of Sweet Brew, a coffee shop. So the last book I have in my Wattpad library is called Pancakes at the Diner. It's currently on hold, but the chapters up are worth the read, and it's by theircity. The diner has had its fair share of people in Midland, New York. There's Andrea, who doesn't know why she keeps coming back except for the fact it's the only place where she doesn't feel constantly watched. There's Gregory, who people watches, filling everyone around him with stories instead of filling himself with food. There's Milo, who often zones out and dreams of the day that he can one day escape. And then there's Monique, who simply likes the pancakes and her waiter a little bit too much. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of My Wattpad Library. I hope you liked it. Comment below if you've ever read any of the books or if you have a book that you would like for me to read. And I'd be happy to review it. See you guys next time. Bye. Cat Rocks. Oh, she's numbers. Talked about that one. The Heartbreak That one's not finished. Completely normal teenagers aren't always constantly by Tainted Hearts. Nope, that's not it. Oh man, my back is killing me. I do that every time. I don't even think I talked about surviving Adam Mead. Where did it go? I have to find it. The Simpson brothers are the most gangliest. That's what I was gonna say. In an attempt to raise money for his football team, he sets up a kissing booth at the. This is terrible. I got these blurred lines.